Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, and I thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guest as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, sometimes we have friends that we meet and we never see again, and then there are other times we have friends that we keep bringing back because they mean that much to our community. And one of these people is sitting with me now. That is Chris Rappold. Chris, thank you so much for coming back to Foxborough Central.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's been a couple of years.
Yes, well, I think we did it last year, but we've been doing it for a few years, yeah.
Well, I love having you back on because every year, and of course, Chris is the owner and founder of Personal Best Karate in how many, 40 communities now? How many communities?
Geez, we have 6 locations serving probably between 30 and 40 communities.
Okay, great. And of course, we have the one here in Foxborough. Yep. It's no longer the Bradley's Plaza. What do we call it nowadays?
You know, it's so funny, as we opened, and 3 months after we opened, Bradley's went out of business. So well, now it is the Ocean State Job Lot.
We could say that you are actually the anchor of the...
For a while,
right?
I sure was. Yes, sir.
So at the Personal Best Plaza here in Foxborough, you can go to Personal Best Karate. So in all seriousness, you've had a wonderful, wonderful impact on so many lives. My kids also went back in the day. I'm not going to say how old they are now because that would age both of us.
Date us all.
We don't want to do that anymore. You get to that certain age where you just don't do that. But you are a force of nature in that you do so much with the company, and you still teach.
Yes, sir.
You're still out there doing it. You're not just doing this from afar.
No, I never wanted somebody to say, I used to train with Chris when he was good. Right? So I'm somebody that loves what I do. I do it every single day. I physically work out every day, and I love it. It's part of what, I find the busier I get, the more it goes from being a luxury for me to more of a necessity. I have a friend that right now is going through some surgery, and she's very physically active. And she's been on the couch for a couple of weeks because it was foot surgery. Sure. And she's, remarked to me a few times, I am just so tired. And why is the tired happening to an athlete is because she's inactive. And a lot of times people think, well, when I get the energy, then I'll work out, or I don't have the energy. And it's actually the reverse. Right? So for me, every day,
Outstanding.
Got to move.
Well, you clearly are a mover. You have touched so many thousands and thousands of lives as people have gone through the company, and you're probably the most humble business owner there is because you almost never want to talk about Personal Best Karate when you're on my show. So I'm going to talk about Personal Best Karate. We'll let you fill in the blanks, and we'll talk about some other things. So Chris Rappold, of course, is the founder of Personal Best Karate, from early beginner to experienced.
Yes.
I don't know what you call
my
experienced person, but
my highest ranked student is celebrating his 28th year with me.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
28th year.
28th year. He
Amazing.
Started right when we opened and has been going ever since.
That's terrific.
Yep.
Tremendous. So you can go to www.personalbestkarate.com and learn about all the programs, the locations, Norton, Foxborough, and the places in between. You can also give them a call at 508-543-1858, or you can reach out to Chris directly and just reach out to him at founder@personalbestkarate.com. So he's always returned my calls whenever I've called. And sometimes when I call, it's for community needs. And I think that's the thing. In fact, the first time I met you, if I'm not incorrect, was at a Cindy McGinty at the McGinty
that's going to be
Family
coming up,
Fund,
right?
And it is coming up indeed.
Second Saturday of September.
Absolutely. It's here on the Common here in Foxborough. Very important day, but also a lot of fun. It's a great way to remember a wonderful person, Michael McGinty, who of course was murdered during the 9/11 terrorist attacks, but also to celebrate his life and support the good works of Cindy, his wife, and so many other good, as they do scholarships for local kids.
It's extraordinary what Cindy does. Such a tragedy. I remember Mike was sitting watching us teach his 2 children on Saturday, and of course the attack happened on Monday. And I admire Cindy so much because she took, what most people would agree is the most, god-awful thing that could happen, and she's really she's shared the love of Mike with the community for 16 years now, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of it. It really is, and anybody that's ever gone there, I think they're surprised at what a great time it is.
It's a very uplifting and positive day. So we look forward to seeing people out there on the Common here the second Saturday in September. But also, Personal Best Karate does many other good things, the other 364 days of the year, including Thanksgiving is coming up again. Are we still doing good things?
We definitely are. In fact, this year we're going to be, for the first time, it's quite a change. We're going to be, as far as Foxborough, our fundraiser run will either be on the 20th or the 27th over at Patriot Place. We've partnered with Patriot Place to do that. It's a 5K, and it's a 1 mile walk run. A beautiful event. They really do a nice job, and Patriot cheerleaders are there, and it's just a great time. Patriot Pat Patriot. Pat Patriot is there.
And of course they're in the middle of the season, so
which is cool.
Everybody gets to go up there and enjoy.
So we have that, and then this year we're moving our packaging and delivery, which happens the Saturday and Sunday before Thanksgiving, to the Foxborough Regional Charter School. So it really is becoming a little bit more of a Foxborough event.
Yes.
And we span a good amount of communities, and we feed upwards of, a little bit over 3,000 families each year.
I know it's an amazing number of families that you touch with this program. So, and normally we would have the program right before, but perhaps we'll just give out the information now. If people want to contribute to and what's the official name of it?
They could go to personalbestcharity.org. We're a registered 501c3, and I'm very proud to say dollar for dollar, anything that's donated goes directly to its intended purpose. It's completely run. Of course, myself and my team, we donate our time, and then all of the charity is run by volunteers. So if you give $1 either for a scholarship, a Good Citizen Scholarship, or a dollar to help feed a family, that dollar goes to its intended purpose, and we're very proud of that.
What a great way to be able to give back with a for-profit business, to be able to have that nonprofit arm. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good karma.
I think it is, and it just makes what we do fun. It really does. I don't think our organization, if you took out the Turkey Brigade, you'd be taking out a piece of the heartbeat of what makes us, who we are, and it's just such a labor of love.
So that's at personalbestkaratecharity.com.
That is personalbestcharity.org. Personalbestcharity.org.
And that's why we repeat this several times, that way the host gets it right.
Yeah.
Personalbestcharity.org. So Chris, good work.
Thank you.
Good community work. School's going well.
Yes, we have 6 locations now, and they're doing wonderfully well. I was commenting to you, everything is, business is changing, right? And
you mentioned with the digital age and everything.
Yeah.
So
I think it really forces your hand to stay current and stay relevant with how we communicate with the outside world, how we communicate internally, etc. So I think you really got to be on your game. But we've always been an organization that has kind of prided itself on staying cutting edge, both in the blended martial arts program we have, as well as how we relate to our students and the community.
Well, good for you for recognizing that it's a changing landscape, and for being willing to be a little mobile as far as, or flexible, or changing, or at least understanding of what the different trade winds are.
Right, and probably like everybody, on some of the things you do begrudgingly, because you're like, geez, I finally mastered this, and now
I have to tweet. Oh my goodness!
Now it's all changed, but I'm
a follower.
Yes, sir. So you have to, certainly go where people are these days. Yeah.
You do indeed. So, speaking of going places, you amaze me every time we talk. Something new, something interesting. And the new and interesting thing this time is that you're now an author.
Well, it's not, frankly, it's not new, probably about 7 years now, but
it's new to me.
It's new to you. Maybe the first time that we talked about it. So I've written 5 books, and
which gets me, by the way, to the humble brag here. This guy never self promotes, so I'm glad that you're here. I'll toot the horn a little bit. I'll do the
Thank you.
the Roberto Luongo, and I'll pump the tires. So let's.
I don't know who that is, but excellent. That sounds good.
You're an author, so
Yes, sir.
how to handle the bully at school.
Yeah, so about 13 years ago, I took my show on the road, and I have, over that period of time, I've brought an anti-bullying program to 33 public and private elementary schools through high schools. And when you're working with literally tens of thousands of students, you learn some things. So really what I've done is I created a simple read for parents. It's called How to Handle the Bully at School, a Parent's Guide. Because I found that, you know, if you're a parent, you know, as soon as you put your child on the bus, you know, who knows what's happening? It's all in their hands. How
And
it
then you hear
happens.
something of a visceral response, and "Arr!"
Absolutely.
But doesn't help a lot.
It sure doesn't, and I'm very proud to say, especially the schools in this area, boy, they've just done a wonderful job in pulling up their education and awareness of the challenge. And I would say most schools probably have, or at least you hope they have, as a result of some of the attention bullying has gotten. So what I tried to do is take the best practices, kind of the cliff notes of the experiences, and put it in a simple, easy read. There's exercises parents can go through with their children. If a parent has to write a letter to a teacher about a situation that happened, there's a template you can go on. If a parent has to communicate with another parent whose child is bullying, we tried to look at all of the different scenarios, those pressing questions that parents have. And again, it's a free resource, you know, certainly to your viewers.
Free.
If they email me, founder@personalbestkarate.com, send me their information, I'm happy to send out a book.
Impressive, even if we're not a student.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, because we all live in the same community, and the more that we can get everybody on the same page, you know, there's a lot of great organizations out there doing a lot of good things. So if we can lend some support there, happy to.
A lot of the challenge when it comes to being a support or having a message or having a resource is just communicating that out. Resources are available, but how do I get it? There's information available, but who gives it to me? And this sounds like a great way to present it, give it, and it's free.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, certainly if you type in Google, bullying, I'm sure you're going to get a whole plethora of different things, and there's probably some great things in there. I have seen some things that I kind of scratch my head. I don't want to say it's misinformation, but you know, it might be a little bit of a stretch.
It's on the internet. It's all true.
Yeah, for sure.
No?
So this is, again, best practices and kind of school and teacher approved, parent-teacher approved.
So parent-teacher approved, so you've written this in conjunction with or reviewed it with? Or?
Well, just best practices that, you know, so many principals and teachers and parents have shared with me.
And that's because you're involved.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you do this at the schools. You see these situations.
I do.
You talk about them.
I do, yes, sir.
Excellent. So, How to Handle the Bully at School by Christopher Rappold. It's a parent's guide. And you can get it for free by reaching out to Chris at founder@personalbestkarate.com. There's another book, Be Your Personal Best Focus. What is this one about?
Well, look at that, and it has a camera on it,
I like
it. Well, you know, we found that focus is something that both adults and children certainly benefit from. And it sounds very obvious, but if you pull, you know, I think any adult can relate to, if you have trouble just sitting at your desk and focusing on the task at hand, it's nearly impossible to get things done. And if you have a child that has some attentional issues, you know, that can create some challenge at school. So this book really just delves into the topic of focus and gives simple, practical advice on how we can all improve our focus. And so no matter what the profession, no matter, you know, who the person is, they can all benefit from it. And again, it's what's the benefit of this, or, you know, where is this being written from? One, being a teacher for 28 years. And then second thing is, as you know, I was a professional competitor for many years. I won 5 world titles. And when you're competing against the very best in the world, believe me, the importance of mental focus is it's critical, because you know, you can only get so strong and you can only get so fast, and the rest is going to come down to how dialed in can you be when you're being counted on. And so I've kind of brought all of that information and made it into a fairly user-friendly book.
Interesting. Yep. And anybody who's watched The Karate Kid, I think that was the big message from Mr. Miyagi to
Have you seen Cobra Kai?
I have not. I have not.
I'm going to tell you, it is phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I know we're not here
now
to plug
a movie
that.
reviewer as well, Chris Rappold. But Focus sounds like an excellent read and one that children and adults
absolutely
could benefit from.
100%.
Chris Rappold, author of Focus and of How to Handle the Bully at School. And there's another book.
Oh, look at this.
Be Your Personal Best. Fitness. Tell us about fitness.
You know, fitness is...
We all know fitness is good.
You know,
but...
Yeah, you know, it is good, but there's a lot of misconceptions about that. We think of Arnold sometimes when we think of that level of fitness, and the fitness that I'm really talking about in the book is, you know, how you can, you know, walk around in life and have that kind of wellness and vitality that I think everybody wants, that level of energy, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It's actually quite simple. I think as somebody reads through the book, at least what's been shared with me, it's you know, I wanted to do the fitness thing, but I actually, you know, I just didn't know where to start. I have a direction, and in the book just gave the person enough direction to be able to get started. Sometimes it's not that we don't know what to do, it's just we don't know what to do next. And I think the book kind of gives the direction. And the biggest thing with this, and you know, just to share with everybody, I think as far as fitness goes, is we all got to get in touch with why it's important. And whatever that motivation is for an individual, we really got to tap into that. You know, for some adults, for example, you know, it's the health and vitality you need to have the energy to be a good parent or a grandparent. You know, sometimes we'll do more for others than we will for ourselves. So I know for some adults, you know, they say, well, you know, I don't have time to do the fitness stuff because I got to be a mom.
It's always the time thing.
Yeah, I got to be I have to be a mom and a dad, and I got to drive the kids here and there, and you know, I'll always come back and say, you will be better at whatever it is that you do if you treat yourself to that level of energy.
And it sounds as though there's a bit of the focus in the fitness.
You know, they all
kind of partner together.
I think they do. You know, we're kind of a big hodgepodge of you know, different attributes. You know, so just drilling down on what somebody, you know, these subjects that I see continue to reoccur, those are the ones that I focus on.
I'm, of course, speaking with Chris Rappold. Chris Rappold is the owner of Personal Best Karate. He's also a teacher there, instructor, world-class karate himself, but most importantly to us here in Foxborough and the surrounding communities is he's a friend to people. He is a big supporter of the community, the annual Thanksgiving events that Personal Best does, the road race, as well as the Turkey Brigade, well worth your investment of time and money when it comes to making a donation. You can reach out to the charitable arm at personalbestcharity.org. You can reach out to Chris himself at founder@personalbestkarate.com. And as I have just learned, he is an author as well, and the books that he writes are very compelling. They're also free. And you don't even have to be a student at Personal Best. So if that doesn't give you the best message, then I don't know what does. While we're sitting here talking to Christopher Rappold, our newest author at Foxborough Central, I see that there's probably another book back here. I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to go look.
There we go.
Confidence.
Yes, sir.
Focus, fitness, and now confidence.
Right, and confidence is that, you know, that internal feeling that we have. You know, it's you know, we get it through the mastery of repetition of whatever it is that we do. But you know, confidence, like any other attribute, whether it's self-discipline or anything else, can be learned. You know, sometimes we look at somebody and we say, oh, they were just born with it. And I will confess, there's probably 5 or 10% of the population that, you know, they just got the it factor. But for the other 90% of us, you know, we have to kind of go through the process of learning the skill. So what I do in the book is just really drill down on just that one word, because again, even if you cannot improve somebody's their ability to do the technical work, if you can improve the way they feel about themselves, you know, their work is absolutely going to shine. And we use each of these methodologies. You know, there's one other thing that we do. We have been a big supporter of the Foxborough school system for, you know, many years, and we run character-based martial arts lessons, at all of the schools in Foxborough. And what we do is we donate our time. There's a small fee. It might be $20, $25, whatever, but the check is made payable to the individual school system, or to that school or their PTA. So it's a fundraiser for the school. And what we do when we run that program is we're teaching the attributes of the things that we talk about in the book, the bullying, the confidence, the focus, the fitness, certainly, the discipline. And that's really what we try to get across in our messaging to the, children and teens that participate in these programs.
Wow, that's powerful. So with the confidence and the fitness and the focus, these are surely cornerstones of what you teach as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, it's not only just written about, but it's also taught. So just a 1 minute and 14 second plug for Personal Best Karate. If I'm thinking that my kids, or maybe I, want to gain confidence or fitness or focus, is karate something that would work for me?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's super important that everybody finds their thing. And I wouldn't say that, what we offer is for everybody. Some people love to run. They love the isolation of going out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that is their thing. Or some people like doing this or that. But, there's just something magical that happens when somebody participates in martial arts. There is a stress release that comes from hitting a bag. You just don't get the same thing as throwing a ball. It's just there's something about that. Martial arts teaches to have a powerful posture. Again, what do we do all day long? We're like this. To be good at martial arts, you need to be able to expand and broaden the shoulders and put them where they're supposed to be. You're doing fun, interesting movement, so it doesn't have the boredom sometimes that we hear is associated with fitness. And at the same time, while you're doing that movement, we're teaching what could be life-saving skills. As a parent, I have an 18 and a 14-year-old. They don't need to be professional swimmers or Olympians, but they should know how to tread water. They should know how to be able to get from one side of the pool to the other. I think personal protection is super important. So aside from getting in shape, relieving stress, giving yourself something to look forward to, you're also learning, potentially how to protect yourself or your loved ones from, something that may happen.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Personal Best Karate is clearly a key part of our community, and thank you so much for all that.
Thank you.
Now, we have confidence, fitness, and focus, but you've also delved into, and we were talking before, and I'd love, if it's all right with you, I'd like to talk about it.
Absolutely.
You wrote a fifth book.
Yes.
And what was that fifth book?
The fifth book was about a teammate of mine. His name is Kevin Thompson, and he is considered the greatest sport karate martial artist of all time. He competed from the time he was 10 till about the time he was 50. And he has won more tournaments and events than anybody. It's like the Cal Ripken of our sport. The records that he set will probably never be broken. Clearly the best of all of us on our world team. And about 5 years ago, he was diagnosed with ALS. And if anybody knows anything about ALS, your body, your brain loses its ability to send messaging in to contract a muscle. And we know if we've ever had a cast on our arm, if that muscle cannot move, it just atrophies. And so I've had to, and this is the second person, that has been close to me that has had ALS. And I've had to watch this person that that started out as my martial art hero when I was a teenager, kind of go through this process. And so as a way to kind of shift his focus away from the disease and onto something more empowering, we sat together for probably about a year, and we authored his book. Okay. And it's a beautiful tribute to the person that he is and the disciplines he's kept. It's a real kind of rags to riches story in that he started out, he grew up in Newark, and in a very poverty-stricken area, and ended up getting his master's degree and becoming principal of one of the schools.
Really?
And ran a martial arts school and world competitor, just a super incredible individual. So, I think it was a nice tribute to him.
Well, congratulations for writing it, and that's a powerful message as well. And anybody who's been touched by a relative or friend who's had Lou Gehrig's disease is it's a message because as the body stops working, the mind doesn't, and that's, I think, the hardest thing to come to terms with.
That is because the person, my friend right now his body is completely paralyzed, but he is as sharp and quick-witted as you and I, but now he's down to eye movement, which, because of technology, I can still communicate with him because, we know each other so well, but he has the ability, they have the eye recognition software, so he can look at the letter and, create sentences and such, but it's it keeps your feet on the ground. Bob, you and I, we go through the same dozen challenges a day that everybody else does, but one of the things that's inspiring to me is when I get up and I don't feel like working out or this, I think about my friend Kevin and I say, you know what he would give to have one more day to work out. So yeah, I know I could use another half hour sleep, but
right.
Come on now.
Well,
so it's a powerful lesson personally for me and for all of the people Kevin's touched.
It's a strong message for all of us because many things we take for granted and we really shouldn't
until we lose it.
That's right.
Until we lose it.
I'm going to give you the last word, of course. I'm going to remind everybody I'm speaking with Christopher Rappold. Chris is the founder and leader of the Personal Best Karate chain. Foxborough is the queen of the locations here at the Personal Best Shopping Center, also known as
Ocean State.
Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. Down here on Commercial Street in Foxborough. They can be contacted at 508-543-1858. Both my kids were students there as part of their growth, and love Personal Best and all that they stand for and all they do for our community. Don't forget the Turkey Brigade. Don't forget the 5K fun run or the 1 mile fun run that you have up at the Patriot.
Fun run and the 5K. It's all on the same day.
Okay, and then you can reach out to Chris personally at founder@personalbestkarate.com. He'll steer you in the right direction. Also, if you'd like a copy of one of these books that Mr. Rappold has written, he's an author who shares his good work for free, and so it's a powerful message at the school, but it's also something that he's giving to the community. Reach out to him. Reach out to also Personal Best. Be a friend on Facebook. You can follow them on Instagram. You are a communicating genius because I follow, I see what's going on, and it's all good.
Well, yes, my team is geniuses at what they do, for sure.
So last word, friend.
Yeah, I just, thank you, and thank you to the Foxborough community. I think we're coming up on our 25th year being within the town of Foxborough. Foxborough was our second school, so I just, when you look at that, I feel very grateful to be a part of the community. The changes that I've seen, the way. Hopefully I've been a good neighbor to the community, but also I think the community has been a good neighbor to us. A lot of nice people like yourself speak well about us, and it's been a wonderful experience getting to be part of this community. So I'm very grateful.
Well, I've been speaking with Chris Rappold, who, along with Personal Best Karate, is part of the fabric of our great community. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We are so out of time, but I do want to give a special thanks to all of my great volunteers here in Foxborough Central, particularly Betty Travers, Alex Peary, Eric Lublins, Maria Lublins, and Linda Lublins, our newest volunteers here on the station, and Paul Beck behind the glass. Mike Weber is our executive director. Lauren Bitar puts us on the air, and Tyler Sharfman edits all the good work that we do. We're out of time. Have a great day, Foxborough. Take care.